Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa van Dijk, and in today's video I want to talk about what actually happens when you exfoliate your skin. Now, if you've ever tried to understand exfoliation, you've probably come across explanations saying that exfoliating removes dead skin cells, unclogs pores, and speeds up skin cell turnover to reveal brighter, smoother skin. And that description isn't wrong, but without context, it can make exfoliation sound like it's controlling how the skin renews itself. But that's not really what's happening. What exfoliation does first and foremost is remove skin cells that are already dead and already sitting at the surface. And these cells we're going to shed anyway, so exfoliation just helps it happen more evenly or a bit more quickly at the surface. And because of that, the skin can look smoother, brighter, and feel more even right away. At the same time, exfoliation does cause mild superficial damage to the outermost layer of the skin. And in response to that damage, the skin briefly focuses on repair at the surface. And that repair process is what can create that smoother texture or fresher feeling. But that repair response is temporary. Because once the surface damage has been repaired, the skin stops that extra repair activity and just goes back to its normal rhythm. And this is also where it really helps to be very clear about what exfoliation does not do. Because underneath all of this, your skin is already producing new skin cells all the time, whether you exfoliate or not. So that process doesn't stop if you skip exfoliation, and it doesn't permanently speed up because you use it. So when exfoliation is described as a speeding up like cell turnover, what's usually being described is fast removal of dead skin cells at the surface and a short-term surface adjustment, not a long-term change in how the skin functions. And this is also why exfoliation can feel very effective at first, because the visible changes happen at the surface. But over time there's simply less surface buildup to remove, and therefore less visible change to see. So it can start to feel like exfoliation has stopped doing something, when really the skin has just reached a more stable state. And I think this is where a lot of the confusion comes from, because we often use the same words for surface changes and for deeper skin processes, even though they are not the same thing. So exfoliation affects how the skin looks and feels at the surface, but it doesn't control how fast new skin cells are made. And it doesn't make the skin depend on exfoliation to function normally. And this is also where things like unclogging pores comes in. So yes, exfoliation can help reduce surface buildup around the pore opening, which can make the pores look clearer. But again, that's a surface effect. It doesn't change how pores function underneath. And the same idea applies to absorption. When the surface is smoother, products spread more evenly and tend to feel more comfortable on the skin. But that doesn't mean exfoliation is making ingredients penetrate deeper or work in a fundamentally different way. It's mostly changing how products sit on the surface. So whether exfoliation is really helpful comes down to comfort and tolerance. For some skin, gentle exfoliation fits well and supports the surface without causing any problems. For other skin, however, the same exfoliation adds more stress than benefits over time, even though the skin underneath is still renewing itself perfectly well. And that distinction matters because it changes how we think about exfoliation. So instead of seeing exfoliation as something the skin needs in order to renew, it's often more helpful to see it as something that supports the skin when it needs that kind of help, rather than something that has to be done on an ongoing basis. Now, I hope that this helped clarify what exfoliation actually does. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!